All right. Let's see who we got. How legendary rap hits were really made. Let's see what they talking about.
Many legendary
like
tracks came to be through accidents, wild ideas, and moments when things could have gone absolutely differently. Like Eazy-E, who had to be persuaded for 2 hours just to stand by the mic.
What, you want me to scream? To put out hits!
The Gorillaz, who
Was that
made
the
their
real Easy, or was that from the movie? I think that's the real Easy. Huh?
The Gorillaz, who made their first banger with just one single click.
Easy and Young Jeezy got damn near the same story, huh? Jeezy said he didn't want to rap. The crew, everybody from the crew went to jail, so he had to get up on the mic and blah blah blah.
That's it. That's the preset. It's the rock
That's how it be sometimes. Oh, I never seen the keyboard that look like that. That look fire.
And that moment when Dr. Dre forced the end of freestyle, after which the whole world found out about Eminem.
Hi, my name is.
And what's funny is I hated this version of Eminem. Like the high, my bum is on your lips, I used to hate that version of Eminem. I liked the serious version once he started doing I'm Coming Out the Closet and all those type of songs. I fucked with that M.
Chicka Slim Shady.
But somebody did broke it down to me and told me like he was doing all this like mocking certain niggas or mocking niggas and some shit like that. I'm gonna have to do more.
Let's go ahead and
research on
find
it,
out
more
about the
video on
birth
it.
of some legendary hit songs. And we'll be beginning with Compton, Boys in the Hood, Eazy-E's first track.
Yeah, you still got one of
And
these
we'll be beginning
TVs
with
in the
Compton,
hood, boy. You
Boys in the
gotta
Hood,
be doing extremely
Eazy-E's
bad. I was
first-
just watching something and I seen the nigga had that nigga was smashing somebody. I'm like, damn, nigga still got this old ass TV in this bitch. You hear me? But it was like 2024 or something. I'm like,
Track.
damn, you gotta be doing bad.
Eazy-E was a drug dealer in Compton, but after his cousin was killed,
I don't want to keep pausing, but they Easy got a verse on Boys in the Hood, the group who was signed to Bad Boys. You know what I'm saying? Which was a fire album too, but he got a verse on that, which went hard. You need to hear that bitch.
realized he had to get out of the streets, and he set his sights on the music industry. He founded a label by the name of Ruthless Records.
Now, why he had to hug? Why was that hug like that? Like, what? Easy arm around it? Like, come on, damn.
Jerry Heller, using money he earned with the help of selling drugs. Ice Cube wrote the track Boys in the Hood for the HBO duo. They refused, and the guys decided to create their own band, which received the name NWA. The most interesting part is that Eazy-E never wanted to be a rapper, but Dr. Dre spent 2 hours convincing him to record the song because the producer really liked his voice and charisma. In an interview, Ice
Dre
Cube
was the
recounted in
producer.
detail how they recorded the track.
Welcome to Take 5 Oil Change.
Hey, how long will this take? I'm kind of in a rush.
Oh, just 10
I
minutes.
used to think
Get
Take
out,
5
10 minutes?
literally only took 5 minutes, but that bitch taking on
Do it,
5
man.
minutes.
You
For
got a
sure.
voice. Your voice is gonna sound good on the record. And he was like, hell no. He was like, all right, give it to me. And then I tried to tell him the rhyme. Back then, it was just like, nah, man, that ain't how you say that line. Say it like this. So we was going back and forth. It took forever to get 2 or 3 lines out.
For one, you should
So
let a
Dre
nigga
was
say
like-
the line how it was comfortable to him. Like, as long as the line come out right, if it's comfortable to him, that's how you let him say it. You can't try to tell him to say it exactly how you said it. I don't think that work like
Like,
that.
you know what? Everybody just leave. Everybody leave. I'm gonna work with this dude. So we left. Came back later on that night. They hadn't even finished the first verse. I was like, damn.
Cube must was doing a
I
movie
left
around this
again.
time for him to have
Came
this
back
bush.
the next day, they was in the middle of the second
Some
verse.
shit.
Came back the next night, that same night, they had finished the song.
About to go and damn near went blind. Young niggas at the pad throwing up gang sign.
Me personally, I did not like Eazy-E as a rapper though. Like when I go back and listen to it, like that's how I judge music. If I can't go back and listen to you now, that's why I fuck with Pac so tough. I could go back and listen to Pac shit now in this day and age. I can't go back and listen to Biggie shit like that. Or Eazy-E, Boys in the Hood, Cube, none of them.
However, Eazy-E and NWA's adventures didn't end there. You already know about the scandalous The Police. Ice Cube wrote the song, and Dre said it's too harsh. However, after the fact that Eazy-E and Dre were arrested for shooting paintballs at cars, he decided to include it in the release anyway.
See, in the movie, it showed that there was they stepped outside the studio for a minute, and then the police just harassed them and da-da-da-da. Then they went back in the studio and made that song. So I guess it didn't happen like that.
A young nigga got it back 'cause I'm brown.
The FBI didn't like this scandalous song, so they, in turn, sent a warning letter to Ruthless and its parent company, Priority,
But what happened to freedom of speech? You can't have freedom of speech?
suggesting that NWA should watch their step.
That boy looked like James Evans off of Good Times for a minute.
One time, during one of their shows in Detroit, they were told not to perform this track. The band ignored this warning, and in the end, after
Ice Cube
gunshots
actually
were
used to be
sounded,
slim.
they had to escape the police by quite literally running out of the concert. Yeah, it's true that they managed to get away, but they were detained while they were in the hotel. Ice Cube once told an interviewer that they corralled us, arrested us all, and all they wanted was damn autographs
People
for their
always say I got that stale face like that, and they always say I got that cube face.
daughters and sons.
It always look serious.
When Dr. Dre scandalously quit NWA, he became one of the founders of Death Row Records and began working with
Right,
Snoop
right.
Dogg. The story behind Nothing But a G-Thang is quite interesting.
1, 2, 3 into the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door.
The thing is that at the time, Snoop was locked up for 3 months for selling drugs, which is why the first version of the track was recorded while Snoop was sitting in a jail cell.
And I take
Did
the
we ever hear that version?
the verse. No, I take the
Chain, yeah.
headphone to the mic
And I spit it?
Yeah.
Damn.
And when Snoop got out of jail, they created another version, and Dre asked Snoop to rap differently.
I wrote the whole song. Then when we went to the studio, he was like, "Fuck that. I got another beat I want you to do it on." Then he came up with the G-Thang beat, and then I put the lyrics on that. Because I was rapping a little bit more aggressive. It was like 1, 2, 3 into the. He was like, "Nah, I need to put you 1, 2, 3 into the."
This is Wix Studio, built to meet
Give
any
him
brief.
more smooth.
When it
Give him
calls
more
for
clear.
complex structure. Let AI map.
1, 2, 3 into the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door.
But we all know very well that the most popular collaboration track of theirs is still D.R.E.
I forgot what they said. Gave him the idea for that perm. Just started rocking the perm. Doing some pimp shit.
It wasn't
out of nowhere.
Dre who wrote this hit song, and it wasn't Snoop Dogg either. It was actually Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
When Jay-Z would write for someone, the main thing for him was to get under the artist's skin and understand what sparks their inspiration. His main task
I would have never
was to
guessed
make the lyrics sound as natural to the
after I heard it, after I heard that he wrote it, then you go back and hear it. I'm like, all right, I can hit a whole flow on that now.
rapper as
I
possible.
can hear it.
Snoop Dogg recounted how that went down.
We're in here writing this song, struggling with this beat. We can't come up with it. It's like the 4th day. Nigga, Dr. Dre fly a nigga from New York into LA. We all in the studio. 30 minutes later, that nigga's done. He wrote Dre shit and my shit, and it was flawless. And me and DOC was like, well, looks like this nigga
Yeah, Snoop ain't
outsmarted
have a problem with niggas writing his songs back then.
us on this one. So we're gonna take the back seat and I'm gonna accept it. And it was still Dre and it was Jay-Z and he wrote the whole fucking song.
And Scott
Nowadays,
Storch
everybody wanna
recounted
talk
how
like
the
they got
track's
something to say.
legendary
Let them come
melody
drop them,
was created.
Ain't that still Dre?
Dre
That song?
programmed this
Let 'em
kick
act
and
like they forgot
snare.
about Dre.
I think his food arrived, and he was within earshot. Like,
People don't be
right
believing.
outside
I'd be
the
like,
control
bro,
room was
Dr.
his
Dre
kitchen
didn't do none of them beats. Scott Storch did mostly all of them.
area, and he
Dre
was
was
eating
the
a sandwich.
engineer type shit.
And I was just noodling on the piano, and I started playing bling 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 on top of this drum pattern that he had, and he poked his head in. And he was like, "That's it."
Representing for them gangsters all across the world. Still hitting them corners in them lolos, girl.
And Eminem features in this music video, even though he once forgot about that.
You don't remember that? Cause you was running on the beach, cause in the video. What? I don't even. What? It was a bunch of girls around you, and all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah, okay. Now I remember.
Come on, man. Yeah.
And now let's talk about how Marshall's first hit song, My Name Is, was created.
My name is what? My name is.
After 1996, Dre started going through a tough period. He took a break, but basically didn't work with anyone. He thought long and hard about what his next step should be.
So what made him so legendary to people? You know what I'm saying? Was it just the NWA thing? Because he did do his thing in NWA, but like I said, he didn't really make those beats. He really was just the engineer at that time. So then for him to take this long-ass break and then come back, still never put out an album, like, What made him so great and legendary to people? I'm not hating. I just want to know. If y'all can answer that in the comments, let me know. What made people love Dr. Dre so much?
And this is when he was once sitting with Jimmy Iovine listening to demos of different artists. Suddenly, Eminem's disc played from the CD player. Dre stopped and said,
"What the fuck is this? I really need to meet this guy."
They got in contact with Marshall, who arrived a couple of days later to meet up with Jimmy and Dre. Funny enough, Dre was surprised to see that Eminem is white. The guys got to the studio.
You heard that first tape, you couldn't tell? That damn sure ain't sound like a black nigga.
First second, M gave them this.
Hi, my name is Chicka Slim Shady. Doing the hook, and he looked at me kind of funny like, "You gonna use that as a hook?" You know? Then the more I started saying it, the engineers in the studio started saying it, you know what I'm saying? Everybody was like, "Oh, hi, my name is..."
He continued freestyling to the beat, and after he was done, he didn't like it, and he asked Dre to start the beat from the top. And Dre was like, "Yo, are you fucking crazy? Let's just punch." And this is how the legendary track
Oh, they used to punch him back then?
And one of the most provocative in the history of hip-hop came to be.
My name is what? My name is
I did not like this
By the
song.
way, M also wrote Forgot About Dre for him and Snoop Dogg. He laid the reference vocals for Snoop, and Dre really
All right,
vibed
so
with
that's
it.
the one I'm thinking about, the one with Eminem. That's still Forgot About Dre. So what was the one that Jay-Z wrote?
And they stuck to this version.
Still Dre.
Nowadays, everybody wanna talk like they got something to say, but if
Yeah, that's the song I was thinking about when they said Jay-Z wrote.
Dre himself has no idea what got to M to write such a song. However, we think that Marshall did it from how immensely grateful he was.
I feel like Dre saved my life.
He said, me saved his life. Wow, okay. I didn't know that.
But due to the fact that Dre had no time for Snoop Dogg, Snoop decided to work with the Neptunes, and more specifically with Chad Hugo and Pharrell Williams. And we will now be talking about the track Drop It Like It's Hot.
When the pimp's in the crib, ma, drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
Pharrell literally created music on the fly. Listen carefully to this beat. Instead of the usual melodies, he used tongue clicks, hissing, and minimal drumming, taking inspiration from the atmosphere of the track White Horse. You'd think the track is already ready, but Chad Hugo added the final touch, which simply blew Pharrell and Snoop's minds.
Yeah, what it do? You put that piece on there, drop it like it's hot. We thought it was done till you put that. When you put that motherfucker on there, that was like the
Yeah,
candle.
be certain little parts make all the difference. You hear me? One little sound, or you could take away a sound and add a sound. That shit make all the difference.
Like, God damn.
Damn, I made the beat. I started putting like spray cans on it.
You did. You did. That's what you did. You was like, nigga, I need to.
Throw that on there too. Put that on there.
This shit. We had some shit too.
On the wall. I'm like, this nigga is really into this right here.
Pharrell and Chad always had strange ideas about how to create music. Let's take a track from Clips as an example. Check it out.
From ghetto to ghetto, the backyard to yard, I sell it.
They were just hanging out, sitting in the studio, when the idea suddenly got to them. Let's go ahead
First
without...
Clips beat, man. That shit went crazy when I was in high school. All you wanted to do was beat on the desk doing that little beat.
melodies and without samples.
That shit was everywhere. Damn, especially when Malibu's Most Wanted came out. That joint was on there, and that shit really took over again.
Why don't we just do it in a way where it sounds like boys at school tapping their desks? In the end, they created such a beat. And when Pusha T heard it, he asked Pharrell, "Is this even considered music?" And he responded saying, "That's the whole point." Here, the flow comes first.
The hard, I'm the neighborhood pusher. Call me subwoofer.
Do you know who else
fire when
didn't
you
care
think about
and
it, though.
also created music in the way he wanted? Damon Albarn from Gorillaz. He also blended rock with rap, and you've probably heard the track Clint Eastwood.
I love just the process of watching people make music. And not just the nigga get on the mic and rap. I'm talking about like the whole process. Nigga putting the drums, making this, that. It's the process.
I'm feeling glad I got sunshine.
Albarn did not
it really
create
is
a
art.
sample for this
People
song.
say it's my
He
art, like
used
it
a
really is art.
standard
You really is
preset.
drawing a picture.
Came like that. That's it. That's the preset. It's the Rock One preset.
Finally, let me out of my cage. Time for me is nothing, cause I'm counting no A.
This sample from Clint Eastwood became the Gorillaz' hallmark in the music industry. Is it cheating? Maybe. However, for some reason, it didn't occur to anyone other than Damon to create a song using a universally accessible melody. Del the Funky Homo Sapien features in this track, and according to his own words, he initially shouldn't have been there. Producer Dan the Automator made a last-minute decision to ask him to write his verse for the track in hopes that he would do it better. The initial version of the song was created together with the British group Phi Life Cypher. The producer told him what to write about, and the rapper wrote down the lyrics in 30 minutes and forgot about it. Sometime later, a buddy of his came up to him and said,
"Your new song you got out." I'm like, "What new song?" "You don't know?" They like laughing at me. It's like, it's playing on the radio all the time, dude. You don't know about your own song? It's a hit song. I'm like, "No, what is you talking about?" Like, something about Gorillaz, and I'm like, Gorillaz? Like, no, you can't be talking about that. Like,
I'm feeling glad I got sunshine.
It's insane
I was about to
how
say, I
hit
could've sworn
songs
it was a
can
white
be
person.
created last minute. However, you understand that making tracks is not just about creating melodies, but also about the
I
possible
love to see
story
Andre in
behind
the
it.
studio.
The Outkast duo had such a song called Miss Jackson.
I
It was
see
in the
Erica
year of
must have had that
1998
ill
when
nah-nah.
Outkast were one of the main faces of the
drove
hip-hop
niggas
industry.
crazy.
Their last two albums garnered a lot of attention in the industry. However, they were going through tough times in their personal lives. Andre was going through a breakup with his baby mama, Erykah Badu, which seriously hurt the rapper. At the same time, Big Boy's relationship with his wife wasn't going very well either. He already had a kid at that time, but then he had a second. This time, it was from a different woman. And so, the guys had to return to the studio to escape the problems in their personal lives.
So did Big Boy write his
The
verse
song is
about his
mostly
wife?
directed at Ms. Wright, aka Colleen Wright, the mother of Andre's baby mama, Erykah Badu. But Andre chooses to replace her name with the generic Ms. Jackson so that this song would remain relevant to all the baby mamas in the world. Andre revealed in an interview that he was too nervous to address Erykah's mom face to face. I
thought her mama
so
name
he
was
decided to
Jackson.
apologize indirectly
Miss
through this
Jackson.
song.
Her last name was Jackson.
I liked it, but how did my mama feel? Our baby, she bought her a Miss Jackson license plate. she had the mug.
Merch, pop-up shop.
She had the ink pen. She had the headband. Everything.
My bad, Joe. I'm trying to fix
Meanwhile,
this fucking light.
Kanye has a song dedicated to a car crash. In 2002, he nearly died. His car hit another car at full speed and he fractured his jaw in a few different places. Doctors literally put his face back together piece by piece and sewed his jaw with a metallic wire. But instead of taking a break, Kanye went to the studio with a swollen face and
You
a
know how
mouth
much
that could
passion,
barely
you know how
open.
much love for the game you gotta have? Nigga, saying with 50, you hear me rapping through the braces and them bitches popping off. Like, you know how much love and passion you gotta have for the game to still keep going and do some shit like that?
And he recorded the
Shit.
track Through the Wire. The name was no metaphor. He really did rap on the microphone through his wired mouth. This was perhaps the most unusual creative concept amongst all of the ones we discussed today.
Who's for breakfast and insure for dessert? Somebody order
Nigga said
pancakes.
insure.
Who's for breakfast and insure for dessert? Somebody order pancakes. I just sip the scissor.
But another car accident ended
That right
tragically
there.
with the death of Paul Walker. He was a legend and was one of people's favorites from the Fast and Furious sequel. And after Paul Walker's tragic death, the Fast and Furious team were faced
What
with
this
the
got to do
question,
with songs?
which is how to adequately bid farewell to the people's favorite hero. Universal and the Atlantic label organized sort of like a competition. Dozens of authors were supposed to offer their versions of the farewell song. Among them was someone who is not yet known at the time, and that's Charlie Puth. He hadn't even seen a single scene from the movie. He just went to the studio with producer DJ Frank E and began playing the chords. Initially, they wanted to make the track sort of danceable, but Puth insisted on a piano ballad. This was personal for him, as a few years ago he lost a friend in a car crash. So he wrote the words, "See You Again," literally stemming from his own pen. After the studio approved the song, the search for the ideal voice for the chorus began for real. Atlantic Records initially looked into more well-known artists to fill the role of the vocalist. The sort of names that were thrown as options included Chris Brown, Jason Derulo, and the very same Sam Smith. Each of them recorded their own versions of the chorus. Puth was not initially against it, but after the song became personal to him, he insisted that he himself would voice the chorus. It's interesting that the very same emotional vocals that the whole world heard in See You Again were actually the first and only double that they recorded for the demo. Then they needed to add hip-hop style verses. They looked into Eminem, 50 Cent, and Tyga, but the choice fell on Wiz Khalifa.
I don't even remember
50
this
Cent
song.
See You Again was originally developed for M.
I could see that.
Khalifa was already one of them in the Fast and Furious family. He wrote the verses in a single night while imagining that he's talking to his friend who's no longer there. In the end, they made a song that's not only become a soundtrack, but also
when he first
a
started
musical
growing his
farewell.
dreads. I don't
And
even
it
remember
broke
that era.
the charts across the world.
Ready to hear a song, all these damn commercials, man. If y'all ever get me monetized, I get the version of YouTube that don't got no commercials. So when we reacting, we don't got no commercials, but y'all gotta help me get monetized first, gang.
And if we're already talking about friendship, then we can end with the track called I Need a Doctor by Eminem and Dr. Dre, which was released in 2011.
I remember that.
I told the world one day I would pay it back. Say it on tape and lay it.
I feel like
Record it
that's
so
when we
that
first
one
started
day I can play it.
noticing Dre got cocky.
Around the time this song was in the making, Dr. Dre had been on long hiatus from music due to grief and depression that ensued from the passing of his son, Andre Young Jr. in 2008.
I didn't know that.
He also reflected on the impact music had on his life and how it gave him the strength to carry on. I Need a Doctor is his testimonial of the role of music in his recovery. Eminem tasked himself with taking on the role of the producer of the project in a creative sense. He didn't just initiate the meetup, he also picked out the theme of the song and stood firm in advocacy of every detail that was important in keeping the emotional power of the track.
Crash, I think, is just metaphorically speaking, like, you know, feels like Dre's been in a coma. Like, me and hip hop are trying to wake him up.
In his verses, Eminem raps about how Dr. Dre believed in him, even though it meant risking his own career. And he said that
like
he is
Dr. Dre
indebted
still
to
dressed
him for
like
the
that,
remainder of his
jean
life.
jackets and shit.
Even here, Eminem generally portrays
so does
himself
Eminem.
as the
He
guardian of
still
the track's
dressed like that.
sincerity. His strategy completely paid off. He later speaks that the greatest reward for him was Dre's reaction. That very sparkle in the eyes of his mentor for whom everything was planned for. Dre, in turn, recalls his history and poses the question of where are the so-called friends, those who kept telling him that they would be with him till the end, but in the end, they left. And it was only Eminem who stuck around. This is exactly why we love music, because a song can be so unique in how it's made. Sometimes it can be made as a result of an interesting approach to music. Sometimes it's the opposite, as a
It could've
result
went a
of
little
a too
deeper
simple
into how
of an
songs
approach.
were really made,
And sometimes as a result of a story.
Cool.
We can do part 2 if you're interested. Which songs should we include in the next edition?
This was 3
Let
days
us know
ago,
in the comments.
so I guess they never made
You're
it to
with the
part
Music
2.
Vibe channel, and the next video that I recommend you
Rick
watch
Rubin.
is the
I know
documentary
about Rick.
film about.
I might gotta watch that. I'll fuck with Rick. But like I said, man, y'all gotta let me know why is Dr. Dre really a legend? There's a couple people like that who I feel like that about. Like they just got the name legend, but I'm like, what would they like? They really wasn't that cold of an artist. Bun B, Pimp C, Busta Rhymes, it's a couple of them. There's a lot more I can't think of right now. Who people be like, nah, man, they legends and shit. And like I said in one of my last videos, like if you took a 8-year break but then come back and be like, oh, I've been in the game for 10 years and this and that, but nigga, half of the break you was gone for 8 years. You know what I'm saying? So how does that even count? But y'all let me know if I'm tripping, man. Put it in the comments. Let's argue about it. Like and subscribe while you're at it. You heard?
Don't do it for the bar, just do it for the bar, just do it for the bar.